Welcome to another episode of Trip 101 Travel Talk series where we bring you real stories from real travelers. In today's episode, we're joined by Deepthi from Mumbai, a passionate traveler who's trying her best to turn her love for exploration into a full time pursuit. We're diving into her recent journey to the historic city of Khajuraho, known for its breathtaking temples, intricate carvings, and timeless stories. From wandering through the temple complexes to an impromptu adventure in Panna National Park, this is a conversation full of insights, inspiration, and travel gems you won't want to miss. So, buckle up and let's get started.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Please tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, what do you do, and where does travel feature in your life?
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm Deepthi Parmar. I have been traveling for a while now, I think 3 years. It started off as something I just wanted to do on the side. So I was doing my full-time job. I work as a content strategist for brands. But now I am planning to becoming a travel creator full time. So yeah, turning my passion into profession basically.
Oh, wow, that's so cool. For the past 3 years, you've been documenting all your journeys on your Instagram handle.
Yes. Instagram, and I also have a blog.
Okay. Oh, nice. So, what's your favorite go-to destination that you always recommend to everyone?
Himachal Pradesh. I've been to Himachal, I think 10, 12 times now. And it always feels like home. There's always something different. There's always something unique to that place. I still haven't explored it fully. I've been there so many times. And it is beautiful in all seasons. It's a year round destination, except for the rains. But otherwise, it's a year round destination. It's beautiful. The people are lovely. The food is delicious. So, yeah.
Oh, I have to agree with you on that. Himachal is quite special. Okay, so let's get talking about Khajuraho. When did you go to Khajuraho? When was your trip?
Back in February.
Okay, and what was the weather like when you went? Was it really cold?
No, it was pleasant actually. It was a little hot during the day, but as in when the day faded out, like during the evening, it was quite pleasant.
Okay, let's talk about the best time to visit in just a bit. But first, tell me, like, how did you decide to go to Khajuraho? What inspired you?
So I actually read about Khajuraho on the Bruce Passport's blog. It had been on the list for a while. Madhya Pradesh is not a destination that you think of, ki, I want to go on a trip, let's go to Madhya Pradesh. It doesn't have that sort of vibe. But back in February, it was one of my best friend's wedding in Gwalior. And I thought this is the perfect chance. If I don't go now, I don't think I'll plan another trip to Madhya Pradesh anytime soon. So I just extended the trip. I was already in Gwalior. I made my way to Khajuraho from there.
Oh, nice. So your friend's wedding provided the opportunity to visit Madhya Pradesh and explore Khajuraho. And what was your first impression of Khajuraho, like when you went there?
I'm a city girl. I've been in Mumbai for so many years and I am used to the crowd, the chaos. Khajuraho, on the other hand, was a very quiet city in general, very calm, very peaceful. And it also gives that sort of perfect place for a family vacation. Like, I would really recommend it. It has such a homely vibe. So, yeah, I think that was my first impression. I would have loved to come here with my family.
Oh, okay. Maybe you can go back sometime now that you know that it's really good.
Definitely.
Okay, that's nice. How much time did you spend over there?
I was there for 3 days. We're just visiting Khajuraho. I think even 2 days are more than enough. But I also went to explore nearby places. I went to Panna National Park. Yeah, but it's a very limited destination. So 2 to 3 days is more than enough. But there is a lot to do around. You can spend as many days as you want.
Yeah, there are many spots in Madhya Pradesh actually nearby that one could go to once they have finished exploring Khajuraho. So let's talk about what you did while you were in Khajuraho. You must have, of course, gone to see the temple. What was that experience like?
So to just give you a gist of my trip, it was because it was a short trip. I did not chill for a lot of time. It was get up in the morning, have breakfast, then explore all the temples. There were quite a few. The list is really endless when it comes to Khajuraho's temples. But yeah, explore the temples. I think I did that for 2 days, and then on the third day, I went to Panna National Park. in the morning itself, but I was not able to get a ticket that early in the morning. So I was there roaming around, then took a safari in the evening. But yeah, I actually explored all the temples in a day because I started early. So if you're someone who's just taking a pit stop there, you can actually cover just Khajuraho, you can actually cover all the temples in a day.
Oh, okay. But there are quite a few, right? Like there are several sections that you see, like there's Western group, Eastern group, right?
Yes. So see, in the Western group, everything is in one complex. So once you start exploring the Western group, you can just go on and just finish everything at once. Suddenly, there are only two temples, and that is again very close to each other. They are very close to each other. Same with these, all these group of temples. They are in a very like they're in the vicinity only, like in one particular complex. So it's actually very easy to cover all of those in a day. I rented a scooty, so it was far more easier. Just took the scooty everywhere. Did not have to walk a lot. Just made the whole trip faster.
Okay. So within the complex itself also, you can like ride a scooty and
Going on within the complex, but just to get from here to there. The Western group of temples is a complex. Other than that, the other two group of temples, they are close to each other, but it's not a complex.
okay. Like you had read that blog where of course which made you want to go. And what was your expectation like and how did the temples live up to them? Like how did they fare?
Personally, I really like places that just go beyond the beauty or the aesthetic aspect. I love places that have stories and history to it. So I already knew that when I am going to Khajuraho, I'll be seeing a lot of temples. I'll be hearing a lot of stories. And honestly, whatever I expected, that is what I saw in Khajuraho. It was fascinating. It was beautiful. The designs, the architecture, the detailing, the stories, everything was just fantastic. Everything had a story. So the trip got interesting as and when it went by.
So for the temples that you saw with the Khajuraho group, were there like one or two that really stood out for you, like the ones that you appreciated the most?
Yes, there was one, I think, in the eastern group of temples. It's called the Brahma Temple. That one stood out to me because I heard that temples dedicated to Lord Brahma, they're quite rare. And I think there are only one or two in the country. So I found that really interesting and I got to see one. So I really liked that one. Then there was another called the Varaha temple in the western group of temples. Nothing extraordinary about the temple itself, but there was this idol. The idol was of Lord Vishnu's boar incarnation. The idol was so magnificent. It was so beautifully sculpted. It was beautiful. I was really fascinated by that idol. And I think the last one could be, I think it's called the Matangeshwara temple. It had this huge shivling right in the middle of the temple. When I say huge, literally huge. So I was baffled seeing that structure. So I think that stuck with me. So I think these three temples were quite fascinating, yeah.
Yes, the Brahma temple, then the Vishnu temple, and the last one is the Shivling. So you're covering all three the main deities of.
Oh, I thought that was a coincidence. I did not think it that way.
Okay. Wow, but that means that all of the temples over there are really quite striking, right?
Yeah, it is fascinating. It will baffle you. The amount of work they have put into it is just amazing.
Yeah, the carvings everywhere, right?
Everywhere. And such beautiful, such mesmerizing carvings. Amazing.
You mentioned that you spent 2 days exploring, even though like you could like within the first day itself you could cover everything. So what did you go back for the second day?
Actually, the day I reached Khajuraho, that I reached in the evening. So that evening, I just took out a stroll there, seeing what the city is about. The next day is when I actually started exploring. So if you see it that way, I was there for 2.5 days, not even 3 days.
Okay.
But yeah, I just took a stroll to the city and I was just, I think, preparing myself for what I was going to see the next day. But yeah, I did not go back the next day. I directly went to Panna National Park after I explored all the temples.
Okay. So did you check out anything else in the city apart from the temples? We'll maybe talk about Panna in a bit, but any food spots that you found or anything else that you were able to explore within Khajuraho itself?
So, like, I was there for a really short time, but I found this really cool. I think it was called Badri. It was a small, not small actually, it was a decently sized restaurant in Khajuraho. The food was delicious there and it was quite affordable. I think once I discovered that place, I had all my meals there. So, vegetarian, so finding something like a pure vegetarian restaurant is sometimes quite a hassle. And I find that one spot, I stick to it.
That's nice. So that's where once you found the spot that fit all your boxes, like it checked all your boxes, then yeah, you stuck to that one for your food options.
Yeah. But I've heard the street food is really nice there. I didn't get to try any, but in Madhya Pradesh, I think kachoris, samosas, and jalebis, they're quite famous. I had those in Gwalior, but not in Khajuraho. But if somebody is going to MP, I think those are the three things they should really try.
Okay, I'm making a note of that. Okay, so let's talk about the Panna National Park because that was the second part of your trip.
Yes. So I think like everyone, I also went there in expectations to spot a tiger, but sadly I did not. But the route, the experience, it made up for it. I was able to see a leopard, a lot of deers, like crazy amount of deers, monkeys. The route was quite scenic. But if you want to surely spot a tiger, I would recommend you go during early morning safaris. That's what the guide told us. That is the best time to spot a tiger. So they have a safari that goes about, I think, in 5:30 in the morning, and then another one in the afternoon. So the 5:30 a.m. safari is like the best time to spot a tiger. So if you're going there, don't make this mistake. Go during early mornings. The chances of spotting a tiger are really high.
Okay. So you took the afternoon one, the one that goes in the afternoon.
Yes, it was an impromptu decision to actually go to the Panna National Park. That was not a part of the plan. But I'm glad I did. It's actually a really beautiful place. And it's just 30 minutes from Khajuraho. Yeah, and if you rent a scooty, I think you can just take that 30-minute ride. Even the route is quite scenic to reach to the national park. It is very comfortable. The roads are really maintained. They are quite comfortable. So yeah, you should go. If you're going to Khajuraho, I would really recommend you going to Panna National Park.
So you were able to spot a leopard at least, if not a tiger. A leopard is a pretty big deal as well, I think.
It was quite thrilling. We saw it from like a distance. We had to use the binoculars. It was on a tree, but still quite fascinating.
You mentioned that like you were going around on a scooty, so you were able to navigate within Khajuraho itself on a scooty as well as go to the Panna National Park as well.
It is the cheapest way to go around in Khajuraho. I think they charge you 400 to 500 rupees a day. And I think within Khajuraho, you can just fill up the tank once and you're good to go. And you don't have to keep waiting for rickshaws and taxis and all. It's a hassle. If you can ride a scooty, just rent it. And if you prefer a car, I think there you can rent anything, absolutely anything there. So scooty is just my choice of preference. It is easy to go about.
Yeah. Once you have that, you don't need to worry about anyone else or wait for anyone else. So that's
Exactly. You can just go wherever you want, go whenever you want. So that's the freedom that comes with your own vehicle, I think.
yeah, that's quite nice. You mentioned that you went in February and the weather was really good. Like it was a good time of the year to explore Khajuraho.
It is. I think Khajuraho is like a all year round destination because it doesn't have a lot to do with the landscapes. It is temples. You go during the winter, it's going to be the same. If you go during the summers, it's going to be the same. But summers are pretty harsh in Madhya Pradesh. So even though the season goes on till summers, I would recommend going between October to February. Maybe I think that is the best time to visit Khajuraho.
That's nice. Yeah. You went almost towards the end of that period. Yeah. You were exploring the temples themselves. Did you get a guide or were you on your own using an audio guide or something of that sort?
Oh no, so I did not hire a guide personally because I love to read, I love to research, and these sort of stories really fascinate me. So I had done my homework. I knew what I was going to see. I knew what was the story behind it. But if you're not someone who Khajuraho has a really elaborate history, a lot of stories. So if you're not the one into reading, then you should probably hire a guide. They will tell you about all the insights and all the interesting parts of the story. There are these pieces of information right outside the temple. but it's very limited. And they don't tell you what the guides or the research, the stories, the books will tell you. So if you're not into anything, probably you should hire a guide, but otherwise, it's quite fun to explore on your own.
There's definitely like pretty temples and the carvings that you can go up close to and explore on your own.
Yes, yes. And the guides actually show you exactly that this carving means this. This is why this carving exists here. So it's quite a journey if you hire a guide. Yeah.
That's great. You mentioned that you were coming to Khajuraho from Goania. So did you take a train to get there?
Oh yes.
Okay.
It was an
And
overnight. No, it was not an overnight journey. I took it early in the morning, and I was there by evening.
okay. And it's easy to get to Khajuraho from anywhere in MP or any of the major cities nearby.
Yeah, I think it is also very accessible by road. If you're not a fan of the rail, I think you can also take your own car if you're nearby.
It's been great learning about your trip, Aditi. I just have a last couple of questions for you, which is firstly, is there something you wish you knew before you landed up in Khajuraho? Like your trip was a little bit rushed as well as impromptu. So is there something that you think would have helped you if you knew it before you were there?
I definitely think if I had known the place a little better, there are a lot of things to do around. Not just Panna National Park. I think there is I think it's called Rane Falls. There is also another place. It starts with Orcha.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that is another place that is worth exploring. So if I had known about these places, I think I would have extended my trip to at least like 4 to 5 days. I and I personally like traveling slow. I just thought maybe if I knew the place better, I would have definitely gotten some extra days.
Okay.
Yeah, so the ground decisions have your time there. MP is actually quite underrated. There are a lot of there are a lot of beautiful places around with absolutely no touristy crowds. Yeah,
So just more time to visit all these beautiful places.
that's it. Because then I would have also gotten to do some shopping. They have a lot of good local artisanal things. Then eat good food. All of that I missed out on because my trip was so rushed.
So would you recommend Khajuraho to your friends and family?
Definitely, like I told you in the start of this interview itself, it is a very family vacation friendly place. That is, you can have a picnic, you can just go around exploring the temples, you can eat good food, and everything is quite comfortable there. You don't have to walk a lot, you can just take your vehicle everywhere. I think families love exploring temples as it is, traditional families especially. So, family wise, yes. Friends wise, it is not a very happening location. You have to be really interested in stories and mythology and history to be actually interested by that place. So, yeah, if you're into history and mythology, definitely I would 100% recommend it. And if you're not, you might find it a little boring, maybe like museums. But it is a museum because it has so much art and so much history.
Okay, my last question is where did you stay and what was it like?
I stayed at the hotel called Hotel Temple View. Not the finest choice, to be honest. Again, it was a very last minute decision to go there. So that was the only hotel that was available at a good price. But if you plan your trip in advance, there are a lot of good hotels, even luxury hotels at a very affordable price, like boutique stays. I would really recommend to do your research. And good stays are really important. I think there are Airbnbs there as well. So yeah, if you plan a little in advance, you can stay at a really fancy place for really cheap.
That's a good suggestion. Yeah. All right. So with that, I've come to the end of my questions. So thank you so much for joining me today and sharing all about your trip to Khajuraho. I'm certainly very motivated to go visit. I definitely hope that our viewers will find the information and all the details that you have shared today useful. So thank you so much for that. All right. With that, we will sign off for today.
Okay, yeah. Thank you. It was great talking to you.
What a beautiful glimpse into Khajuraho's charm and serene wild forests of Panna. Thank you, Deepti, for sharing your travel story, your favorite temples, and that wonderful tip about early morning safaris. If Khajuraho wasn't on your bucket list before, we're sure that it is now. Don't forget to like, comment, and share if you've enjoyed this episode, and hit subscribe for more such travel talks from around the world. Until next time, keep exploring because every destination has a story.